Hello and welcome back to the 2025 Deadlies Showcase. Today we're looking at the Wacky Widgets compilation, which is a contest that Dragon Fogel ran, where I believe the gimmick of this was that Fogel made a bunch of widgets in advance, and people just had to make use of them in some way. So I guess we will see... Okay, summary of rules. You have pre-made widgets, find something interesting to do with them. Each main puzzle room had to contain at least one widget. Each room in the sublevel contains one of the widgets designed for the contest. The widgets are surrounded by a border of alternate floor. Everything within it is a part of the widget and cannot be changed except aesthetically. Okay, so the widget here, for example, is... I guess we need some way to disable this. We can't just walk through because we can't fight both these enemies at once. I mean, I guess that's a widget. The border itself is not part of the widget and can be freely changed. Making something affect a fire trap or force arrow within the widget is also allowed. It was permissible to move the widget anywhere in the room. Rotations and reflections were allowed. Makes sense. Entries had to make at least 3 puzzle rooms. At most 9, each of which needed to at least one widget and at least 3 different widgets in total. Combining widgets was allowed and encouraged, but not necessary. Okay. So this room, for example, I can already see is not possible because we don't have any way of interacting with this. So it is a magenta room. I suspect what's going to happen is once you've finished every entry, you then drop the blue door, go down the stairs, and probably start in here with your sword on one of the enemies, which will allow you to then back up, change your sword orientation, and finish this room. So I think that's what's going on here. It's just a fancy blue door. Also, the widgets are kind of arbitrary, I guess, because I don't know necessarily that this entry will use this widget. But yeah, okay, this one, yeah, you have basically 10 turns to get the fuse, to light the fuse and get out. Otherwise, you have to be invisible or do something else to prevent the water skipper from spawning, or clear out the water skipper. Okay, so this is like a timing kind of widget. Let's look at the widgets first before we start going into the entries. Okay, I guess we can also read the scrolls and see here. So Emerald Iceberg, 6th place. So what's this widget doing? If we break the wall, I mean, I guess I can actually just do that. The serpent, the rattlesnake will have 2 turns of moving forward, and then the Roach Queen gets stuck. I guess the other gimmick of this whole, like, so we need to be able to deal with the Roach Queen before that happens, basically, or be to the left of the Roach Queen when we break the wall. So interesting to see how people would use something like this. And I'm guessing this is going to be a repeated theme here, where like this is a required room, but it's probably, if I complete this entry, which I guess we can look at, what is this? Serenity Springs, 7th place by Disoriented. Okay. If we have, if we complete this entry, we'll probably appear here, is my guess. So yeah, same thing with this. This one was impossible just because we're not close enough, so we'll probably just start somewhere where we can light the fuse. Yeah, so that seems to be what's going on here. So with this one, we've got a construct. The trick here is that we have to somehow deal with the construct so that we can step onto the trapdoor and hit the seep. But we're not going to be able to get close to the construct because it's surrounded by ormites, and if we go the wrong way around, it will step on this by itself, which then makes the seep unkillable. Late submission unranked. Okay. Wasted Wasteland. More water skippers. They're a favorite. Everybody loves water skippers. Okay, so what's actually going on here? We need to create a stepping stone or ice in this row in order to wake up the eye, I guess, is what's going on. Okay. First place by Lova P. Heat Mirages. Okay. Potions. Yes, those are potions. So... what this is doing... this is an interesting one. Oh, I see. Okay. We do want... I was like looking at this. The speed potion and the invisibility potion can both be used to prevent waking up the eye. But that's not the point. The point is we want to wake up the eye. And then once we've done that, we can place the decoy behind it to kill it. So we need to get rid of one of the other potions in order to have access to the eye. Because like with the speed potion, it wakes up too slow. Which means that we're not able to place the decoy. And with invisibility, we're just out of range, so it doesn't see us. Okay. Land of Rotation and Exchange by Zendaris, second place. Here, Break the Widgets by Red 13 for third place. Okay, we have the ability to disarm. Right, okay, so with this kind of a setup, the Gel Baby is trying to move. The only way it can get to us via brained path map is through this little corridor here, which means that no matter where we move in the room, the Gel Baby is trying to go through the brain and it's stuck. So we will disarm and we can get... that's interesting. So we can disarm, but even now, because it prefers orthogonal instead of diagonal movement, it's still trying to go through the brain. So there's no way we can deal with this without having a sword, so we're going to have to do something with the widget to get around that. And then, because obviously we have to be disarmed because of the trapdoor in order to get in here. Okay. An Omtlick on a Force Arrow, I assume. Yeah, so the issue here is that because of the Ormites, we cannot step onto the hot tiles in a way where we have the correct orientation to block its sword, because we need to be facing like so, for the sword to block the beam, rather. So we need to distract the Omtlick somehow with something out this way, or have a speed potion, or some other way in order to be able to step off of the Ormites, turn our sword without dying on the hot tiles, and then stab the... yeah, even if it was distracted, like even if this Omtlick was on a mirror over here, this would still be impossible. So we just kind of need a speed potion to turn our sword, because that's actually the issue. Or we need like a bomb out here that'll just blow up the Omtlick. That's also an option, I guess. The Widging Hour by Dragonfogel. Okay. I remember there was a point where... and this was like years and years ago, where there was sort of this idea that maybe architects weren't supposed to join their own contests, but we had a number of contests. I'm not sure if this is the reason why we changed that. We had a number of contests where there just weren't a lot of entries, or maybe it was just that architects wanted to participate in their cool ideas. So that's no longer a thing. It's now pretty common to have architects participating in their own contests. Which is fine. I don't have an issue with it. It's just kind of something that just occurred to me. So I thought I would say it. Okay, so here... broken wall here. Breakable wall, rather. But we need like a keg and a caber, maybe, to break it in order to get the roach out. Alternatively, if we had a spear, we could come through the gel in a way that wouldn't result in our death. I guess a gel to mud swap token would also solve this. So yeah, there's a couple of ways we can get we can solve this one. Twisted Ziggurat by Clock. Okay. Well, 7th place was, I think, over here. I think we just went clockwise. Yeah. So let's look at Serenity Springs by Disoriented. And I'll probably just do like a room or two and then I'll move to a different entry. Since this is a contest compilation, so it's a little bit different than a typical hold in that sense. In the Valley of Serenity Springs, where the bluebird hums and the daisy sings, architects employ their delicate digits, crafting delightfully dazzling widgets. You guys have anything to say? Nope, you're just hanging out. Okay, nice aesthetic already. Yeah, and there's our blue door to the south. Okay, so our widget of choice is this. And how do we disarm it? Probably with a Fagundo. That would be one thing for sure. Okay, we have what looks kind of like a horde room. Let's go around here. While we're here, let's just see. Okay, we're using this widget, and then an alternative here, and it looks like it's just a matter of getting the clones to the right spot. I don't know. We'll do this room, and then we'll go somewhere else. So how do I actually get out here? To get out of this, because we have this ice. Once we clear the room, I see the tunnel. Oh, okay. I was like, how do you get onto that tunnel? You can't. Well, no, you can start from the tunnel. So that's what's actually going on here. This is the entrance. Okay, this widget was used here. And a soldier horn. That's always fun. Okay. That's how we get in. So the ice over here is an exit. Now, we can drop... No, we can't. This bridge is connected here. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure what this ice is doing then, but... we have what looks like a timer. In fact, if tar... Well, I don't have to actually worry about that because we have a Fagundo. We can blow up the tar. So, looking at this, 30 turns, the tar grows, but then we get a baby here, which would be a loss if we didn't have the Fagundo or a spear or something, but we do have a Fagundo or a spear or something. So, do I actually care about any of this? The one thing that's going to be a little bit tricky here is this mass of roaches. Is it? I feel like this is set up to look like we have a bunch of time issues that we don't actually have. Because with these roaches, I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive this. I suspect not. So I'm going to be stepping on this, and once I'm here, I can swing my sword back and forth and deal with all the roaches just fine. But the problem is the force arrows are active at that point, and nothing else in the room disables them. This is a one-use pressure plate, which means that we have a potential issue where... No, we don't, because we can just blow up water skippers over and over here, which means that the Fagundo can eventually break through. The Fagundo will die, though. Okay, and then if the Fagundo dies... Like, I think the issue here is that I need to use the platform to stab this. which means I do need to survive the roaches without stepping on the force arrows. But like, I don't think water skippers spawning is an issue. I don't think roach queens spawning is an issue. Babies spawning in all these alcoves isn't an issue. We do need to blow up the ice on both of these, but that can be easily done. I'm not concerned about pulling that off at all. So I'll just use like a tar baby. And this is already adjacent to tar. So I think I don't actually care about any of the elements in this room that look like they could be causing troubles. I can just stall with the Fagundo. It's like, I think the Fagundo just breaks everything here, which might have been the intended purpose. But for now, I'm just going to... So in that case, let's... If I rush over here, do I get there in time? Maybe I have to go straight for it. Can I stop the gel? Yes. Okay. Which wasn't super important or anything, but that was the only thing I could see that I couldn't deal with. Now, I do note that I've shuffled the roaches in here, which might be really bad. Might be really bad. I'm just going to ignore it for now. And instead... Oh, we've got a roach on that arrow. Okay, that fixes that potential issue as well. Alright. So, how terrible is this going to be now? So I've shuffled. I have to keep this Fagundo alive, is the thing. So is the trick that I need the Fagundo to blow up on something repeatedly here? Did I need to just let the tar grow so that I have time to do this? Okay, we survived. And Fagundo is safe. And we got out. Okay, I think we just solved the room. Ice melted. Do I need to drop all the all of the tar stuff? Answer is yes. Didn't need to blow those up, but I did. And yeah, I can't just blow up the... Oh, I see. There's if the tar grows onto the ice, then I melt it. That's the issue here. Okay. let's not do that. Let's... Timing just happened to work out there. Okay. Okay, there is an issue here. There is an issue here, but it can be fixed. Which is that I don't think we can get the, this is within 5 tiles here, so we have to be invisible to get the Facundo out. Let's just blow you guys up. So we'll just move the platform there. Okay, the serpent's actually surprisingly easy to time. Wow. There we go. Let's just deal with you guys. So if you are invisible, the Facundo doesn't see you. Oh, you don't change your orientation if you do that? I did not know that. Well, I guess we'll just do it this way then. Which means that this is in a terrible spot. Yeah. Alright, so... kind of a fiddly little thing at the end here. There we go. And we're free. Okay, I mean, that used the widget. Kind of. Like, the entire puzzle was really just to get the Facundo out of this room, but we did it. Let's go check out... Emerald Iceberg. Okay, no entrance text. Interesting use of lighting. I like what's been going on here. This is just something I've just recently started playing around with in the editor. Like I did the DROD RPG, the Year of RPG contest that we had last year, which will be having a compilation in next year's Deadly Showcase, I guess. I did lighting to change the way that the level looked. Not a very subtle use of it in my case. This is a lot nicer. I do like the way that they changed the ice to make it look green. Alright, so we have three widgets. 4 actually, because we've combined... Oh no, this wasn't the Omplic widget. Okay. Interesting. Well, I feel like this is sort of Pygmy Webba's style, is a messy room with a lot of stuff to parse. But they're usually a good time, so let's see what we've got going on here. So first of all, we need to open, well, not first of all, first thing I'm looking at, we need to open this in order to even get access to this. Instead of starting at the top left, let's start at B-throw, because this looks like this might be a case of we have to do things in a particular order. Because yeah, we've got this airlock here. So, yeah. We have a clone potion. Okay, so immediately we have like a million ways to do everything. Because clone potions are kind of ridiculous and break everything. Well, with a clone potion, we can do some weird stuff messing with like the way that the Omplix facing, the getting the Roach Queen, like we can stab this with a wall, stab this wall, and then teleport over to here instantly by switching clones, and that prevents the Roach Queen from causing us any trouble. So that's a thing we can do. How do we kill you? You are on a fire trap. Okay, we just want to light the fuse. And it looks like nothing else really gets hit by doing that. So that's fine. Interesting. So this is another way to do it. We can, while this is being held down, this will blow this up. Blowing anything up triggers this twice, but it only toggles on, so triggering the orb twice doesn't matter. Which is to say, because this is a weird bit of arcane DROD here, but if you have two bombs blow up on the same turn, it's only one explosion, because all bombs are calculated as a single explosion event. So if both of these bombs go off on the same turn, then the orb would only get hit once. But it doesn't matter if this orb is hit once or twice because these aren't toggles, so it's effectively the same thing. Now it does kill this roach, which we can... well, we can block that. We don't want to block that because we definitely want this to blow up. Killing those seep is going to make our return path here, which I do think we're going probably counterclockwise. That makes that part a lot easier. Okay, we've also got all of these traps, which... Okay, if we get the Roach Queen stuck in here, it actually isn't the end of the world because we can release her later. This gives us access to a powder keg. That's basically free because we have a clone. So these mechanisms, as long as we have both clones active, they shouldn't be an issue. What about here? Okay, we can close this. Also, it opens this for some reason. Turns this off. Toggle. Okay, I'm trying to think why I would ever want this to be open. There's nothing over here that lets us light the fuse. Omplix never going to be blocked by this. There's no line of sight, no evil eyes. Okay, I really just don't know what the point of this is. It doesn't seem to do anything. Well, I think... So I've been staring at this room for about 10 minutes, probably. Maybe it's time to just start doing things. I'm trying to get a sense of what's going on. There's a lot of weird mechanisms. So if I wait until turn 10, we get a water skipper here. I don't think there's anything I can do to prevent that. So that means that keg goes here, you stab it from the force arrow. Stab it with the force arrow to protect yourself, and then you have lots of time to light the fuse from that position. So I think I just don't care about this at all. This is just get a powder keg over here. And nothing else is timer based. The Roach Queen isn't spawning yet. There are no fluff vents or tar growth. The thing is, I'm just not sure what I even want to do with this room. Right, I think something I started talking about and didn't finish the thought was that I can't push a powder keg onto these, which means I think I need the Roach Queen to either step in here herself, and then I can either stab it with the clone or put a powder keg there and stab the keg. And since there are two of these, I'm probably going to want a roach for one or both of them, and then the queen just kind of doing whatever. Then we got this though. Right, so I can go around this way, but it doesn't really do me anything. Also, there's a bridge here connecting these. I didn't notice that until now. But if I ever want to go through this path, I need to have one clone in here when the other clone hits this. And even then, I can't swap clones to save this clone. I need to have this broken so that the enemies here can drain out. Which means, again, using a powder keg. Okay, I just don't really see what I can even do in this room at the moment, so I'm just gonna... I do have, with that clone, you do have the power to place it anywhere, but I don't see anywhere that's terribly useful. Maybe here, actually, because it would let me get past the seep. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go for now. Okay, we've got you out with the powder keg. Does this do anything else? We do have the roach over here, which I think we don't want until we've lit this. Right, and the bombs will blow up the Roach Queen. That's part of the issue here. So if I do this... Let's have you over here. The roach still hasn't moved. Okay, we've defused. We've defused this situation. So you will never be an issue. You're no longer annoying. We can now fairly easily get the Roach Queen out and manipulate it to go wherever we want it to go. Hitting this. Also, we got a seep out. Which again, I think is fine. And I think I can do that. So I think, yeah, this is just a matter of doing a bunch of stuff. Okay, mildly annoying, but... Oh, I can prevent that. There we go. That's fine. I think we just want the Roach Queen over here. Just put her on this wall. She'll be spawning periodically, which will be annoying, but from here we can easily get roaches. Well, we can easily get a roach here. Getting a roach here actually doesn't look like it's possible, so I probably just use the clone at some point. We can push a powder keg on there if we have to. Well, I guess we could get the queen in here too. That's the other option. You can chase the queen up that way. Okay, so if that's the case... let's just get the queen stuck here. I feel like that's... Can I get this keg through here? I think I can. That could be an issue. Is there any way to get the keg where I want it to be? I think these arrows force me to push it here. Oh, well, that's fine though. I can just do that. Okay. And then I don't even think I need the other. I do need another keg to deal with you, I guess. There's no shallow water to prevent that. What opens this? That does. Okay, that's going to be a little bit obnoxious. I'm trying to think how I want to deal with you. I could have put the Roach Queen here, or even here. Yeah, that's probably a much better spot for her. Well... easily done. We have the seat being a little bit annoying, but that's fine. Yeah, I feel like there has to have been a better way of dealing with some of these elements. The seep is easy enough to deal with because I have clones. The Roach Queen, I'm kind of now thinking I just want to stash up here so it's out of the way. How many more powder kegs do I have? 1, 2? Where am I planning on using them? One here and another one here? So the problem is I can get this powder keg out if I have one of you stepping on this, the other one can then just go extract this. I still don't see why I would ever hit this. Okay. That Roach Queen is recoverable. Keg has been extracted. This must be held down. That means this must be held down. Which means this must be held down. I'm thinking this is a Roach Queen. Don't see any reason to care about this in particular. So I guess the next thing to do is just to bring a keg up to here and deal with this. Because this, we can deal with this once we have the final keg. Although that means that I'm not blowing... Hold on. How am I getting something in here? I was going to get a roach in here, but I need a keg for that. Okay, I think I've actually got an impossibility here then. I don't have enough resources, so maybe I have to prevent this somehow. Because I'll use a keg for this. That lets me get out of here. Again, stepping on those doesn't help, stepping on this doesn't help, or using it doesn't help. So I guess like the issue is, how do I ever get this keg out? Open this door. To open this door, I need something on this, which means open this door. For that, I need something on this. Open this door. For that, I could put something on this, but this is already opened over here, so there's like a circular thing. So I could have placed the clone here at the start. if I do that, is that really all this puzzle is? Just put the clone here and it solves everything? Because if I put the clone here, the roach moves down, but this blows up, which kills this and this. I don't see any value, like the oblique isn't lighting this fuse over here, so there's no value there. We never want these to be pressed, so that just deals with a couple of issues right away. Then, this is already opening this, which means that you can just go in here, grab this, get it out. And then everything else I think just plays out the same, except that we're never even messing with these. Which means I never even need to break the tar. I do still need the keg for this. Okay, I think... See, this is why I spent so much time parsing the room at the start. Because... it turns out that that was important. But I missed the thing that was going to make the whole thing work. Okay, and that means I don't think I have any value. There's no use for the Roach Queen. We want to hit that to deal with the seep. Let's just do it. Okay. We'll get you over here so that we can extract this. Yeah, so it was a big complicated room, but I feel like I might have also just broken it. Which is a thing that can happen when you have so many things going on. And then also the ability to just place a clone wherever you want. Yeah, because this gets us this keg. I cannot push it off of here. Okay, so we found a reason for the door. Fair enough. Yeah, okay. Well, that was a room. I don't know if I have time for another one, but we'll check out one more entry. Twisted Ziggurat by Clock. In all of Bithro's travels around the Great Beneath, he has faced danger or resistance at nearly every turn of his journeys. However, when an average civilian goes about their day, they rarely face anything they would consider particularly eventful, even if they have a boring life. Perhaps Bithro's travels are exaggerated for the sake of telling a tall tale. Perhaps he just happens to take the most dangerous routes most of the time. But if a wild detour of the imagination is to be allowed, perhaps there is another explanation for all of this. There is a theory that there are parallel realities, which is one of the worst writing tropes in my opinion, of a sort, all stacked on top of each other. What may be a straightforward walk for a nephew may be a rock wall for a smite master, and vice versa. What may be a plain tomb with a slight infestation for a tourist is actually a labyrinthine death trap for Bithro. It would certainly explain a lot. Well, it's just a theory. Yeah, that's not a knock against DROD or Clock. This is just a thing I've been noticing. I've been getting really into JRPGs again, and there are a few particular tropes that I just really do not like, and the parallel universe is one of them, because a parallel universe essentially is just a way to completely remove any tension or stakes from your story. Because if you have the ability just to reset everything effectively, then nothing really matters. And it's especially annoying when it's used for like a fake out death where somebody dies, but then it's like the same person from another a parallel universe just shows up in a few minutes later or something like that. Like there's it probably can be used well, but I don't know, it's a personal pet peeve. Alright, so this is an interesting aesthetic going on here. We've got this thing again. Okay. This time the arrow is as is, though. We're not fixing that. Yeah, this looks like a much simpler room, so we should be able to do it in a few minutes, hopefully. So what's the issue here? The issue here is that if we do that, we're never killing this particular construct. That's not true. We have a platform. Okay, we can disable the fire trap. Okay, well... So I can just do that. The problem here... I can never go south, so I need to... I think what I need to do here is use two constructs here to block the rattlesnake in place. I then step on this to disable the fire trap, and then I can be down here when the construct revives. In fact, I can be over on this side, that's fine. We are going to have to deal with the construct, but okay. We do only need two constructs though, so I'm still not sure what this is about. But there we go, there's one. What's the relative turn order? Constructs are faster. Good. That's what I wanted.
Exterminate.
Let's not do that. We're gonna need dagger for that, which means that we need better timing. Okay. Whoops, let's not do that. Interesting use of the dagger. Ah. Okay, and that's what the third construct is for. Because now what I want is to do this. But when I do that move, I need this construct to move here to block the rattlesnake, which means I need a construct here to move here. Okay, and they're in the right position. So this construct... Well...
Exterminate. Exterminate.
Is necessary after all.
Exterminate.
And that's why we have the tunnels here. Nice.
Exterminate.
So there we go. You moved first, block that spot, and then because you moved first, when I do this, you don't get to move out. So now, actually, I had to stab you there. I think I want the dagger instead of the sword. It doesn't really matter. Well... Let's just do that. So this construct being here means that this construct can get out, although it would with the preferences anyway.
Exterminate.
Let's just kill you guys now. So we don't have to deal with you. Okay, the rattlesnake's just going to do its thing, but that's fine. That's not fine. Okay, we need the rattlesnake to get out a little bit more than that. Okay, well... There we go. That should solve it. Let's just get another... I was gonna say get a roach down here, but I guess we probably want this whole thing to be flooded. Fighting a rattlesnake with a dagger isn't something I do that often. Feels a little bit weird. Yeah, so ideally I would stick a roach on that, but I don't think I have the ability to do that. So we're just going to instead use the roach flood solution. What am I talking about? The roach queen... Never mind. The roach queen's not moving to the left, so in this corner it was actually fine. Okay, I was overcomplicating the last stage of that. But yeah, still a faster room than the other two. Alright, so that was a glimpse of Wacky Widgets. Obviously there are 5 more entries that I could have looked at, but yeah, just a taste of what that one's all about. Something like this is going to be really hard to judge as far as overall quality because it is a contest entry, but that's just, or it is a contest compilation, but that's just how it goes. I guess if you're going to vote for this hold over the other holds that were released, it would probably be more about whether you enjoyed the contest itself or the concept of the contest. But I guess the individual quality of the rooms could also factor into that. Hard to know. I don't know if we ever had a contest compilation win one of the Deadlies. Can't think of one, but I also haven't really looked into it too carefully. It would be interesting if something like that were to happen at some point. But anyway, that's going to be it for Wacky Widgets compilation. We'll do another hold next time. I will see you then.